Love bombing is the most dangerous phase of a relationship with a narcissist because that's where they get you to buy in. That's when they get you on the hook. So if you're in this place now, or if you're looking back trying to find the signs that something was off, this video is for you. Welcome to the Common Ego community. My name is Christina, and I'm so glad you're here. This is a space where you can come to learn, connect, and share in an effort to ease the discomfort and the pain of narcissistic abuse and toxic relationships in general. So if you have been love bombed by a narcissist, or if you're questioning whether you have, I have a download that might be helpful for you. In this download, I talk through the phases of narcissistic abuse, and there's also a checklist that you can use for each phase to help you identify whether you've been in this place or not. So before we jump into the signs you've been love bombed by a narcissist, let's talk about what love bombing really is. So love bombing is a term that we use for the idealization phase of a relationship with a narcissist. And there are 3 phases. Idealization is the first, or love bombing. Then there's the devaluation stage, and then the discard. Narcissists aren't the only ones guilty of love bombing. There are other personality types that love bomb, and even somebody who's super insecure and wants to get your approval, wants you to like them, wants you to love them, they might love bomb as well. So just because you've experienced love bombing doesn't mean that you have had a relationship with a narcissist. And we're going to talk through that a little bit more as we go through each of these signs. But when you are dealing with a narcissist in this idealization phase, they truly are putting you on a pedestal. They are looking for supply, and with that, they're looking to basically fill a hole within them. They are not truly happy, and they don't even have full access to all levels of themselves, to all levels of their emotions. A narcissist is someone who is lacking emotional empathy. And so true human connections are really difficult when you can't empathize with the person you're trying to connect with. So in this phase, what the narcissist is looking for really is for you to love them. And it's kind of a transactional thing. They know that they have to do certain things in order for you to love them, because they want all the good feelings that come along with being loved and being in love. So for a narcissist, the love bombing, it's kind of like a means to an end. They want you to act a certain way, and so they act a certain way to get that out of you. All right, so let's jump into the 7 signs that you got love bombed by a narcissist. And the first one is an obvious red flag. And you may not have known how dangerous this was until after you realized that you were dealing with a narcissist or another emotionally abusive person. First one is they say, "I love you," very early. And this kind of sums up love bombing in general. Because even if you're dealing with someone who is just very affectionate, very romantic, someone can't love you if they don't know you, right? So when you're in that first phase of a relationship, you are in what's usually called the honeymoon phase. And that's where identifying love bombing can be really tricky, because in a honeymoon phase, you're both showing up as the best version of yourself. You're not lying about who you are, hopefully, but you're showing up as the best version of yourself. So there's a lot that you're going to hold back in the beginning of a relationship because you want to see where it's going. There's no sense in laying it all out on the table if the relationship's not going to go anywhere. But in a relationship with a narcissist, it ends up feeling very intense, and they will say, "I love you," very early. And it may even feel too early for you. But remember, this is all to get your love. It's to get you to love them. It's not because they love you, because they don't. And the reason why they say it is not necessarily conscious manipulation. It's really because they don't understand love. So the second sign you've got love bombed by a narcissist is you instantly become the center of their world. It's like there was a vacuum before you existed. That, this person didn't have any hobbies, didn't have any friends to speak of. They really did nothing. And then you just came in and you filled that void, you filled that space. And they may explain this by saying that you are their happiness, that you make them truly happy, like no one has ever made them happy before. And this is a red flag because, one, if somebody does not have a life outside of the relationship, there's a lot that can go wrong. And if they're not happy without you, they are relying on you to make them happy. And that's a dangerous situation. Happiness really needs to be an inside job first. Another sign that you just got love bombed by a narcissist is that they ask you very personal questions very early on. And they may feel like probing questions. And more specifically, they might be focused on your pain or your trauma or things that have embarrassed you, things that trigger you. These are probably questions that no one's really asked you before out of the context of a conversation. So if you're talking about something that's relevant to the question and the question comes up, that kind of makes sense, right? But this feels a little bit more like an interview. It's like they have this list of questions ready and waiting for you. And unfortunately, this is more conscious manipulation because the more they know about you, the more they can manipulate you. The fourth sign that you got love bombed by a narcissist is that it felt like a soulmate or a twin flame connection. Now, this is a trap that is easy to fall into because you feel so in sync with this person. And when it comes to soulmates and twin flames, a lot of people have different views on what those things are. And some people will think that a soulmate is somebody that you're meant to spend the rest of your life with. Same with a twin flame. It's my belief that if this really is a soul level relationship, that it's not necessarily for the purpose of making you happy in this lifetime. It might be for the purpose of leveling you up. And I know that it's a little bit controversial to say sometimes, but these relationships can help you level up because they force you to look at what's going on within you and to heal those wounds that the other person was so good at triggering. So no, you don't need to have a toxic relationship in order to level up. But some of us wouldn't have done it any other way. But the reason why it feels like a soulmate connection might be because maybe it is a soulful connection. And maybe it is here for a reason. Or maybe it's not a soulmate connection at all or a twin flame connection. And it just felt like that because the other person was going in so hard to make you feel loved and to make you feel connected to them. So another sign that you've been love bombed by a narcissist is over the top displays of affection. And this could be in the form of gifts. It could be that this person spends a lot of money on you. Maybe they take you on these elaborate trips. Or maybe they're just super affectionate in a way that no one else has been. Narcissists are pretty good at learning what your love language is. And that's something that they can use to kind of hook you in, to get you on the hook in this idealization or love bombing phase. The sixth sign that you were love bombed by a narcissist is they wouldn't let you slow things down. So if you got the sense that things were moving a little bit too fast and you kind of wanted to not put the brakes on, but you just wanted to slow it down a little bit. Maybe you just wanted to spend more time with your friends and sustain the life that you've had outside of this relationship. Now, a narcissist in this case is not going to take that lightly. So they're going to probably throw a fit if you try to pull back during the love bombing phase. And this can come in many forms. They might end up ghosting you. They might just split. They might get angry because this feels like a form of rejection to them. Or they might just double down and go harder. They might steamroll you and force themselves into your life. And if you don't know a lot about narcissism, if you don't know a lot about love bombing, you might take this as a sign that they really, truly must care about you. If they're fighting so hard to spend all their time with you, they must really care about you. And the truth of this is that if somebody truly cares about you, they want you to be happy. And if you're saying that going out with your friends is going to make you happy, that shouldn't be triggering. So even though this one can feel like love, it's actually a pretty big red flag. And the 7th sign that you got love bombed by a narcissist is that the love bombing ended with devaluation or breadcrumbing. So things were going along full force. You felt like this person was your soulmate or your twin flame. You felt this intense connection. The two of you may have even talked about marriage. And then it just kind of fizzles out really quickly. So this is where love bombing stands apart from the typical honeymoon phase of a relationship. Now, there are a few ways that it stands out, and we talked about those. But this one is the most obvious, and unfortunately, it's after the fact. But if you're thinking right now about a relationship that is in your past, this sign can really help you make sense of what all happened. So after, that typical honeymoon phase in a relationship where things start to get more real, something that happens gradually, all the nice gestures and things, they kind of tend to fade away a little bit, but they don't just completely just stop. If someone's being genuine, how they show love is how they show love. And that love isn't really going to stop unless the relationship's about to end. But if that's happening, if you're not with a narcissist or somebody who's been love bombing you, what's going to happen from here is the relationship will come to a natural end. With a narcissist, things are different. Now, a narcissist may start to back off, but send little breadcrumbs. They'll leave a little trail of breadcrumbs to make you think that there's still hope, that this relationship that's been so great can get back to where it was before. It's just, you kind of get the feeling that this is a temporary thing and this person's going to come to their senses. So they definitely change the way they behave, but they give you just little bits of hope here and there. And if you want to learn more about breadcrumbing, I have a whole video on it. I'll link to that in the description. Breadcrumbing is one form of devaluation. It's a way that the narcissist can make you feel like you're not enough, you're not good enough, while at the same time giving you some sense of hope. But breadcrumbing is not the only way that narcissists devalue, not by far. Now, devaluation can be very subtle. It can be little ways that they put you down, jokes that they make at your expense. It can be that they ignore you and pretend you don't exist. And there's usually not a whole lot of rhyme or reason to the devaluation when it happens or how it happened. And this is one way that you can tell that it's not personal, even though it feels personal. It's not about you, even though they're making it about you. So narcissists aren't the only ones who love bomb, but love bombing is a staple in narcissistic relationships. So if you got love bombed, and if the love bombing leads to a very clear phase of devaluation, and then later on to a discard, there's a good chance that you've encountered a narcissist. Now, you can't say for sure. What I can say is that if you have been through these phases, continuing to learn about narcissism will help you. So if you found value in this video about love bombing, I have another video where I go into more detail about what's going on with the narcissist in this phase and how to separate yourself from all of it. So I'm going to link to that video right here. And as always, like, share, and subscribe if you found this video helpful. And I'll see you next time.